We're here at the historic Allen County Fairgrounds at Lima, Ohio for the 9th annual running of the Ohio National Half-Mile Championship motorcycle races. This event is sanctioned by the American Motorcyclist Association, being run on one of the oldest and, as fans and riders alike will tell you, one of the best dirt tracks in the Midwest. Motorcycle racing at Lima has a long and proud tradition which dates all the way back to the early 1960s, and many of these people have been coming each and every year. The fans know they'll see great competition at Lima, so more of them come every year. Most of them come on their bikes, some traveling thousands of miles just to get here. Not only do they see their favorite riders in action, but they get to see old friends and meet new ones as well. The fans ride all brands of bikes to Lima, but Harley is the favorite.
Chris, they tell me a racer is not a racer until he can win on the rough half miles through the Midwest.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I tell you, Lima, Ohio, where we're at right now, is got to be the toughest half mile that we race all year long. It's wide open, it's fast, it's rough, and it's slick. So it's a great test for dirt trackers.
What's the secret? You figured it out in 1991.
Well, I figured it out for 1 year. Being able to do it year after year is going to take a little bit more hard work. You just got to go fast and right on the edge. That's what it takes to win.
The guys that are from this area, George Roeder, Steve Morehead, going back to Bart Markle's days, Jay Springsteen, these guys really master these tracks, and they seem to do it at a young age. You're from Northern California. Was it tough on you coming into the big cushions in the Midwest?
Well, there's no doubt about it. I first laid eyes on a pea gravel track here in Ohio in 1984. It took me 8 years to win a race, so hopefully it won't take another 8 years to win one more.
Do you like it now that you've got it under your belt?
Every time I come here, I enjoy it more and more. There's no doubt about it.
Well, you guys put on a heck of a show, and the fans, of course, benefit. They see racing 4 and 5 bikes wide.
There's no doubt about it. In the 1991 race that I won, there were 5 different leaders with 42 lead changes. You won't find that anywhere else in the country.
Chris, want to wish you the best of luck out here tonight. Make it 2 in a row.
All right, thank you very much.
George, there's something about the rough Ohio Fairgrounds racetrack that brings out the beast or the best in a lot of riders, and there are a lot of riders that can't handle it. You are not one of them, though. This is a kind of track that, boy, George Roeder just shines on.
Yeah, I grew up riding on tracks like this, and when I come here, I feel at home. You know, I feel like I can go fast, I'm comfortable, and this is when we shine, like you say. Everything works good. We got the bike set up, and we're looking for a good finish today.
Being a hometown track, does it put a lot of pressure on you as a rider? You got a lot of fans, you got family here, and they all want to see you do good, obviously. Of course, they want to see you do good no matter where you are, but does it put a lot of pressure on you?
Oh, yeah, all week I've heard nothing but, oh, we can't wait, you're going to win, this is going to be your weekend, tonight's your night. And I said, well, there's 20 other guys here who got the same idea as I do, so we're just going to go out there and do the best we can. If we can have a good finish, we'll be happy.
You stop thinking about all of that, I would think, about the time you start revving the engine on the start line.
Yeah, once you get out there on that start line, they put that board up, and then it goes sideways. You forget about everything, just about, you just think about what you're doing and trying to go fast.
If you had your choice, where would you like to win the first national of your career?
Oh, right here at Lima, for sure at home, and this is my kind of track and my kind of people, so right here would be the best place to do it.
And I understand that the Roeder Harley-Davidson has sold or solicited more tickets than anyone, so you're going to have a huge section of fans up there all chanting, George, George, George.
And they're going to be cheering me on. They said they was even thinking about making up some cards. They was going to have my name up there, and I said, man, don't do that, man. So, yeah, I'm going to have a lot of backing tonight, and I appreciate it. I like it, and it makes you feel good.
third place here in 1991, so we need to improve on that by just 2 places.
That'd be fine with me. I'd be happy if I could just get on the box again, but for sure I'm shooting to be on top of that box, and we're going to be going for it.
Well, all the fans out there that are watching this and that are here tonight, George, are wishing you the best of luck.
Thanks a lot, and I hope everybody likes the race. It's some of the best racing in the country, I think, is right here, and I'm glad everybody's here. Thank you.
Well, anytime you win on a racetrack, it becomes one of your favorite tracks, and Lima would certainly be no exception.
That's a fact. That's the only national I've ever won was Lima, Ohio back in '89. And matter of fact, that's the only time I've ever really made the national here. Every other time we've come here, I've had mechanical failures, but we're looking to turn that around this year. I'm on a new team, the A&R Racing team out of California with Dennistown turning the wrenches, and that'll be a Honda motorcycle. We're really looking forward to tonight.
That's kind of unusual to make the main one time during a career at a particular track and have the win. What do you attribute that to? Is it the type of track that you don't care for, or just what sticks in your craw here?
Well, it's really hard to say. I rode Steve Morehead's motorcycle that night that I won that race, and he pretty much had the motorcycle set up for the way he'd won it on the same motorcycle a couple times before. And since then, apparently I didn't look the bike over quite good enough to really figure out what made me win the thing that night. But we've been going back and looking and trying to figure out what really made that motorcycle work, and hopefully tonight we've made the right choices.
The riding here, sometimes 4, sometimes 5 deep into the corner off that cushion. As a rider, is that exciting? Is it scary? What runs through your mind?
Well, actually, it's a really neat racetrack. I think it's pretty much the finest half mile we run on. The thing is, if it starts getting ruts in it, then it can get a little scary. But if it stays smooth all night and traction all the way, it's just a blast.
It's a blast for the spectators. Anyone that comes here gets their money's worth.
That's for sure. If they don't, when they leave here, if they didn't think they got a show here, they need to go anywhere else because that's the best we can do.
Will Davis, want to wish you the best of luck out here tonight. Let's get yourself another national win and make it 2 here in Lima.
Thanks a lot. We can use it.
A great career for Steve Morehead that includes several wins right here in Lima. But I have to think, Steve, that it's not only the wins, I have to think it's the kind of track that makes this one of your favorite places.
It sure is. I'll tell you, the racetrack is 80 foot wide, and it just is wide open as far as racing lines. By that I mean we can run the top of the track, the middle of the track, the bottom of the track. So it's probably one of the most competitive races that we'd run all year long because racers can run 5 and 6 abreast.
That's the definition of a cushion, but what makes a cushion track? Is it the type of soil or the type of corner? Just what is it that defines a cushion track?
Well, the limestone surface is what we have to look at. It's a limestone base with the gravel and dirt mixed in with it, and when you add water to that, the track gets soft, it digs up, and then you're looking at about a 6-inch base that we're pushing constantly to the outside of the racetrack. So the riders' arcs just get wider and wider as the night goes on. We take bigger lines around the racetrack.
This kind of a track is kind of a dying breed. We don't see too many of them throughout the United States, and hate to see them go, but fortunately right here in Lima we're holding on to one.
Well, thank God to that. The Ohio half miles all over the state. They've resurfaced them on every year, and so you have that good deep dirt, to be able to race in. That's what happens. A lot of places, they don't resurface the facilities we go to, and the racetracks get hard, black, and real slippery.
The Lima facility, as I pointed out earlier, is a favorite for another reason. You've done a lot of winning here, and that means for Steve Morehead, who's from about 30 miles away in Findlay, he rides under a lot of pressure. Doesn't seem to bother you.
Well, not really. I used to years back, I'd come here and people was expecting me to win. Well, thank gosh we won. We happened to win the race twice. So now I can come here and just kind of sit back and run my own show and ride the race, and whatever happens, happens. But
being 30 miles from home, still, you know, you always like to come someplace like this and win the event because a lot of my family and friends are here, and it's the closest I ever get to my hometown.
Another a good reason to come here, I think, is the fans. Boy, they are some of the greatest and most knowledgeable dirt track fans you'll find anywhere.
Oh, they sure are. You know, if it wasn't for the fans, the series just wouldn't be able to make it. You know, these people travel all over the United States. You know, I think I log a lot of miles, and then I go home and talk to one of my friends, you know, come up to me and say, well, shoot, you know, we run 40,000 miles this year too, but we did it on a motorcycle. So, yeah, motorcycling people are the greatest people around.
Steve, want to wish you the best of luck tonight. Looking for win number 3 here at Lima, and I'm never surprised at what you do, so hopefully you'll be up in that winner's box.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm sure it'll just be a really good show.
Rick, when you were riding to prominence in the Camel Pro Grand National Championship Series, half miles really were not your forte. We come here to Lima, one of the rough tracks in the United States, and one of the best for cushions. People see a lot of exciting action, but is Rick Graham still looking at half miles like, well, I'd rather be somewhere else?
No, not at all. You know, these, you know, we just got through running the mile tracks, and you know, I'm up there, you know, good in the Camel Pro Series. And these are really important, you know, races. These 3 half miles we've got coming up are really critical for the Grand National Championship. And, you know, back a few years back, I'd say, oh, I don't like those races. But, you know, that was just an excuse as far as I'm concerned now. And, you know, like I said, it's just critical to make good points at these races.
So you come into a track like Lima, which is one of the last of a dying breed, a great cushion track. You come into something like this now with a different attitude and a different light?
Well, you know, it's another racetrack. You know, I want to do good at all the races I go to. You know, I want to do the best I can, and I can't go into them saying, I don't really care for this kind of a racetrack. You know, it's the same for everybody, like I said, and I just want to go for it.
Do you like cushions?
Yeah, I really do like cushions. You know, I tend to, you know, the hay bales, you know, used to, you know, bother me a little bit because sometimes you got to really run it up, you know, and be kind of crazy, you know, like George Roeder and Scotty, and, you know, they used to really run it up there on the hay bales, and, but I think I can do good, you know, maybe not being quite as wild as those guys, be a little bit more conservative, be sure and come out of here with points, but I definitely want to win.
Tell you what the cushions do. I know there are a lot of riders that maybe cut their teeth on groove type tracks and they kind of shy away from those cushions where they run 4 and 5 deep. But what they do is provide a tremendously exciting race for the spectators.
Yeah, the last time I did really good here was back in '84 when I rode for Team Honda, and me and Scotty Parker raced, you know, the whole 25 laps of the National, you know, back and forth. And you know, I'm in really good shape now. I'm putting my whole effort into the racing, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, I've watched Rick Graham race from one end of the country to the other, and I don't care if it's a cushion, a groove, or whatever. You seem to shine no matter where you are. So we want to wish you the best of luck here in Lima. A lot of great fans, and I know that they support my thoughts for you.
Okay, where's the cushion?
From one end of the country, the Camel Pro Tour takes in half miles, mile tracks, TTs, short tracks. They all have similarities in that the objective is to start over here and get to the finish line first. But they are not all the same in the makeup of the track. This one is a dying breed. It's a cushion track.
Yeah, it's really exciting coming to Lima, Ohio, because the racetrack is a cushion. You can run the high line, you can run the low line, and today there's not a lot of them racetracks out there that you can run the high line, low line, and when you come here, if you get a bad start, there's still room to pass up in the cushion at Lima, Ohio.
When Scott Parker had his training in dirt track before you came number one, these kind of tracks, I think, were the dominant track. And I have to think that the training you got back then, learning to ride up high, down low, moving in and out of traffic, was a big factor in making you the success you are.
Well, thank you. But by the way, you know, like when you run it into the corner, you can take and dice off into the low line. And if you got to go to the high part of the racetrack, you can. And like you say, I was bred on cushion racetracks, and it was really exciting. So today, when I come here, it just makes me a little bit more exciting to go out there and try to I guess you don't want to say reminisce, but the old times. That's what it sort of reminds you of, the old time cushions.
You know what else we get here in Lima? A lot of old time fans. They appreciate fantastic racing, and they see it here just year after year.
They sure do.
Scott, want to wish you the best of luck out here tonight.
Thank you.
You have to arrive early to get a good seat. Besides, you don't want to miss anything at Lima, even the time trials. The riders are pulling out of the pits, getting ready to take the green flag and start their qualification runs. Do or die, one lap against the clock. On course now, number 20, that's Chris Carr. Winner last year at Lima, looking for his first national championship. Scott Parker knows what it's like to win a national championship. He's done it 4 times, and he's won here at Lima 3 times. Taking the green flag. This is Chris Carr into that number 1 turn. Smoothly through, throwing up the dust, and headed it down the backstretch. Coming through the turn now with that number 1 plate on that Harley machine, Scott Parker. Scott Parker finishes up his run, the young man out of Swartz Creek, Michigan. Here comes Ricky Graham on his time trial, and he really puts it sideways. In fact, he puts it into the hay bales. Let's take a look at that again in slow motion. You can see he's going well wide of the accepted groove. Maybe he thought the track was wet and firm out there at the edge, but that rear end just keeps coming around. Wow, this is the kind of excitement that knocks spectators right out of their seats. Fortunately, both Ricky and his bike, A-OK. One of the highlights of the opening ceremonies is the vintage bike parade around the track. Here's a beautiful Harley Sprint. The rider, no stranger, Bart Markle, national number 4. And here's another honored guest, Randall Tex Cobb, former professional boxer, now actor.
You know, it's not only that they want to see you, they want to see great racing, and they love it here in Lima because the racing is always so good, and they're very knowledgeable folks.
Well, look at this place. It's 80 foot wide. There's not a black mark anywhere on the racetrack. There's a cushion up top. You'll be able to race all over the racetrack and put on a hell of a show.
I think you will. Any predictions for tonight?
Well, I'm hoping for a good, strong finish, and, I'm hoping Joe Roeder is going to be the man to beat. He's been running awful strong and kicking our butts so far this year in the state of Ohio. So, with Larry Pegram and Joe and Darren Erickson, the factory guys go fast everywhere we go, but you know me, I'm for the privateers, and I hope the privateers kick their butts.
Camel dirt track racing somewhere in the area now. By the end of the season, is going to be like.
Scott, you just look happier than the proverbial pig that's just covered with stuff.
That's right. Things seem to be working real well. Went out late in time trials and still turned a pretty good time. So we're looking forward. Bill Warner's doing another fine job.
And as I said, this is the type of track that you cut your teeth on.
It is. It's really neat to come to Ohio because we did come race a lot during the years as I was coming up as a junior and a novice. And here we are back in the good old heart of dirt track racing, and all you fans. Hey, what a place to put on a great show here in Lima, Ohio.
You got a leg up on winning your 5th championship. No one has ever done that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Me and Bill's determined as ever to go out there and pull this thing off. And we feel real strong. It's a long season and far from over, and that's why we're here tonight, just to try to add to that points.
The time trials are over. Now it's time for racing. The first up, the number 1 heat race. Front row, Will Davis, Scott Parker, Kevin Atherton, Martin Lavoie. Ready to go, and they are off. Will Davis gets a good break, but coming up very, very quickly was Scott Parker. Coming around this time around, it is Martin Lavoie who is on the point, quickly followed by Scott Parker and Kevin Atherton. By the time they make it around to the front straight this time, it is Parker in front, Atherton in second. Keep your eye on this. Touch me with your hand, kick me with your boot. Hey, these guys are teammates. Watch it in slow motion. Off the 4th turn, that's Atherton on the outside, reaches out with the left hand, and tags his teammate, the number 1 is Scotty Parker. Parker returns the favor. Here's the boot to you, Kevin. And on down the front straight they come. Taking a low route. Scott Parker, the man with the lead, through the south end of the track and continuing with that lead. 4 down the main straightaway. Scott Parker leading Kevin Atherton. Atherton, the young man out of White Pigeon, Michigan. It's static this time around. Parker first, Atherton second. Fun and games for Scotty Parker. The wheelie down the back straight. The teammates down the front this time around. Michigan teammates indeed. Still battling as they go down the backside of the course. The checkered flag is out, and Scott Parker wins heat race number 1. Night falls on Lima, Ohio on a June Saturday night. And next up, the junior final. Riders ready for a 12-lap run, and they're off. First lap around, Jess Roeder, James Hart battle for the lead. James Hart taking it through the turn, throwing up the dust. Jess Roeder firmly establishing that lead with number 16 James Hart in second place. Roeder continues the run at the front. James Hart in second place. Back to third place, that's Joe Barrow. And number 43, Brett Landis in fourth. Jess Roeder out of Monroeville, Ohio. The racing Roeders. His father raced, his brother races. Back in the pack, a dandy battle. Joe Barrow on 67, Brent Landis on 43. Just barely with the advantage on Landis. Roeder continues his lead. There's Roeder kicking the rear end out, going through the turn. But back to the battle between Barrow and Landis. Roeder is all by his lonesome at the front. That battle continues. Landis with the advantage on Barrow. Landis in third place. We almost forgot about Jess Roeder. Getting the bike a little bit squirrely going through the turn, but continuing with the advantage. And how about second place? Here's James Hart. Doing all he can to chase down Roeder, but it won't do any good on this night. One more lap to go. Jess Roeder, James Hart battle it out. But this is a Jess Roeder night in Lima, Ohio. Half a lap to go through the north end of the track. And here's the checkered flag for Jess Roeder. James Hart takes second place. Brett Landis, that third place victor. cool down lap on a hot night in Lima. And the man of the hour, Jess Roeder. Give the man a flag. He deserves it.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the winner. He comes out of Monroeville, Ohio. He completed the first half of the Roeder hit combination. Jess Roeder! Now let me ask you that question. I mean, you got thousands of fans that are right here pulling for you. What felt better, the national win or this one?
Oh, this one beat it by far, man. There's nothing beats a push. You can really get in there and get back on it, and nothing beats these fans that come down here in Lima. They're great every year, and I love racing down here.
Fantastic, and you did a heck of a job. Early lead, man, you were gone, but at the end, James was picking up the pace and getting close to you. Did you know he was there?
Well, I made a mistake looking back, seeing I had a little lead, and then I started coasting. And then I started making mistakes, and then I knew he was catching me, so I earned about the last lap. I tried to really open her up. I don't know how he did. But he did extremely well. He was gaining on you, and it was questionable, really, coming out of 4. And I wonder if he'd had a couple more laps. He seemed to have something figured out there, and he was just pushing me all over. But if it wasn't a couple more laps, then you are on top of the victory basket. James is a good competitor. Whenever he's on a track, you know he's going to be there knocking on your door. You got to keep your guns loaded and keep going. If he had passed me, we had a couple more laps. I had to just try to pass him back.
And the front row for the final, Jay Springsteen, Kevin Atherton, George Roeder, Ricky Graham, Scott Parker, and they are off. The bike's into turn 1, now onto the back straight on the first of 25 laps in the expert main. At the front, the battle, Ricky Graham on bike number 3, and that number 1 plate belonging to Scotty Parker. Onto the front side they come. Graham still with the advantage, 2 bike lengths over Parker, but he dives low. Ricky Graham through the north end of the track with the lead. Here comes Parker trying the low side. They almost touch. Graham continues with the advantage. Dandy battle for position number 1. Scotty Parker looking to go low as they went into turn 1. Now here comes Parker on the other end of the course, taking the lead for the first time, but Graham comes right back. Ricky Graham with a slight advantage again. Parker will try and come low. This time he gets it right alongside Ricky Graham, side by side down the straight. Scott Parker the leader, Ricky Graham in second, but wanting to come back up once again. A great battle for that first place position. 2 bike lengths separate them. This time it's Graham looking to go low. Back in the field, a great battle as well. George Roeder, Chris Carr, Rusty Rogers, Jay Springsteen going at it. But Ricky Graham now in second place. Takes it through the turn. Scotty Parker with the number 1 plate, the number 1 position. He will not be headed this night. In it's Ricky Graham. Now Graham in second place. He led it early. But Scott Parker has him covered. George Roeder again in that great battle back in the pack. Now Ricky Graham trying to hold off Kevin Atherton. Atherton to the outside. Atherton with the pass. And Graham will soon be out with engine problems. Rusty Rogers, George Roeder, they're in a battle for fourth place. Back at the front, Scott Parker at the point. Down the front straightaway into turn one with the lead. Out of the north turn, onto the front straightaway, Rusty Rogers. Scott Parker under the lights. He's won here before, trying to make it 4 at Lima. We're halfway home, and it is Scott Parker with the lead. Kevin Atherton in second place. Atherton working the bike, throwing the rooster tail of dirt onto the straightaway. Parker not headed though. Looking for his 5th national title in AMA competition. Smoothly through the turn, Scott Parker. Not challenged at this point. Kevin Atherton would like the challenge, but is just not to be tonight. Rusty Rogers looking for a podium finish. But Scott Parker, he'll be at the top of the podium tonight if the bike holds together. Atherton in second place, doing everything he can to catch Parker, but it is not to be on this particular night. And right toward the end, it is George Roeder pulling up on Kevin Atherton. Right behind in that battle now for second place. Side by side they go through the turn. Roeder pulls up. They look like they bump. Through the north end of the track they go. Try as he might, but Joe Roeder goes high. Atherton stays low, and he keeps the position. Checkered flag is out. Scott Parker wins it. Kevin Atherton in second place, and George Roeder with a stirring finish to come up in third. A wheelie by Atherton. The fans love it at Lima.
Question whether Scott Parker would have the desire, the dedication, and commitment to go out and do it one more time. I think the first question is that Scott Parker will be 5th win of the season, receiving the accolades of the crowd, and deserving a to take that third place. You can be proud of that.
Yeah, that's like I said, we've been happy about those out backs, but we're satisfied tonight. We're glad all your fans came out. It's a great race, I think. You don't get any better than this.
George, you guys said last year while we got up here. It's going to get wild as soon as I get over here.
job. Oh, thanks. Thanks to everybody.
Well, you know, I was out there, I seen Joe was behind me, and those last 2 laps it got a hold of me, and man, I was choking and gagging, and Joe, I didn't know he was that close that last lap. I looked back, seen him there, and I thought, oh no, I better do a smooth lap. You know, I was messing up here and there. I was trying to watch Scotty, see what he was doing, then he got away from me. But, you know, it was great. You know, I was on my Harley Davidson. 1, 2, 3 again!
You knew where you wanted to be going through 3 and 4, obviously. You stuck it into that low line, and there was just no two ways about it. You weren't about to leave it.
Well, there's a couple holes down there in 3 and 4, and I kept on hitting them for some reason last couple laps, and kept on screwing up, and I knew Joe was catching me. I thought, man, I better just putt it around here, and hopefully he won't get by me, and I held him off there, but he put on a hell of a charge there. You know, Joe, he's tough, and Scotty, you know, he just split. I don't know what his problem is. But, you know, I gotta say thanks to all you fans out there, all you hog people, you know.
This young man to my left, your teammate, wants to know what the hell is your problem.
Well, we took and buried one of my cousins this weekend down in Tennessee, and we wanted to make the ground thunder tonight here at the Lima Fairgrounds, and I know he hears this. God bless you. Dunbar Webb that just passed away this weekend. Let's get over the bad stuff. Let's talk about the Lima half mile tonight.
Here's your winner, Scott Parker. Yeah. 3 times now you have won here. You're the first rider to do that. 5 times you have won this season, and we're not even, we're just about halfway through the year, just not quite halfway. So you're on some kind of blistering pace.
Like I say, I got to put my head off to Bill Warner. He's the one that makes it so easy for me out there. He works his rear off, and when he comes out here, I think he's got every bit of confidence in the world that he's got that motorcycle set up. And I also got to thank all my sponsors that's there with me. Let's thank Old Milwaukee for the beer they got here tonight. Let's thank Harley Davidson. Woo, woo, woo! Bell Helmet, Super Trap, Makuni Carburetors, and I know there's some more SBS brake pads. We got Performance Machine helping us out, White Brothers Shocks. Hey, thanks to all you guys. If we didn't have you guys out there helping us, we couldn't do it as good as we do it.
Final question or comment I want to make. At the beginning of the year, Jack Mangus of Cycle News wrote that Scott Parker's probably getting tired and that he's no longer dedicated enough to win these things. He will not be able to hold up to the grind, and probably he'll not win this championship.
Every bit of information I read, I take in about half of it, throw the other half away, and you know what half I threw away? I'm looking for this 5th championship. Me and Bill Warner, we think we can do it. Woo!